Young men are giving up on the dating scene. Young men are going their own way. Young men are basically tired because women want to be with the most attractive men. Women want to be with the richest men. And it's leaving men tired, asking themselves, is all these things worth it? And I was there a couple of years ago and I had a couple of mindset shifts that I feel like the elderly men around me instilled in me. And growing up and seeing how much this has shaped my life, I figured that I must also talk about it. The goal of these videos is to tell men why they shouldn't give up and why it's now is the perfect time for you to be a man, because it's almost never been easy for you to be a man that women really want. That's all the problems. So the problem, first of all, is that one, we have lost a sense of purpose as a generation. You see, back in the days, right, the culture naturally made boys into men and made the girls into women. So there was like sort of like a nice balance where everybody knew their roles. Guess what? They call them traditional roles. And another problem we now have is we have women and men who are very, very unrealistic. You see women who say they want to have a man who earns $100,000, knowing fully well that only about 1% of the entire men in the world earn that amount. So they think because of social media and online access, they think they can magically stumble across somebody like that. So then on the other hand, you have men who are being told to be much more feminine. And when you're much more feminine, that grind mode is completely beaten out of you. You're told to be in touch with your emotions. And when you're in touch with your emotions, the drive of that masculinity to work as hard as possible, to have a very clear vision and be obsessed about that vision is completely gone the more feminine you are. And different problems. You will have the matrix creating foods that are destroying men's testosterone. And the more problems we have again. On the other hand, we also have social media, who makes people feel like they have access to some people that they never will have access to. For example, we may think by just following a high value man, they can quote unquote be in his space, which is completely unrealistic because the dating scene is completely warped, it's completely disastrous. So what should we really do as men? Because the best option is not to give up. So my name is Sonore. I'm basically dedicating part of my life to helping young men find their voice, young men who feel like they are lost to find their voice. And that's because a couple of mindset shifts that I had according to these masculine men I was surrounded by. One is, you see, that hardship about being a man is the only way we have to actually get forward in life, because you see that hardship separates the boys from the men. You see, when you're a boy, you're being pampered, you're being loved by your mom. You feel like the whole world is on easy mode. But as you begin to progress, you begin to realize that nope, the ladies have things for free. But you as a man, you have to work for your own stuff. That can cause like a problem in your head. You have to start asking yourself, why is life this hard? I remember watching a video of a guy who was like, a boy who was like 9 years old, crying to his sister who was about 5 years old, talking about how he knows that life is going to be hard on him already. And something like that is supposed to be spoken to as a way that, guy, if life is hard on you, that is your path to success, because most men would quit. Think about it. You see, if you look at something that's happening around the world, the rich are getting richer, the poor are kind of getting poorer. Bottom line is the middle class is disappearing. The thin line between the men who have all the women and the men who have no women is getting bigger. Now you have two options. It's either you choose to ignore this, like, and be with the guys who have zero women, or you choose to take your life into your own hands and become part of the men that get women. And to be very, very frank, I know that women is not what should motivate you, but I'm sorry, women motivate a lot of guys. So I feel like of all things, what you need is one, a vision for your life. Everything starts with a vision. I'm not going to lie to you. If the moment you have a vision for your life, everything begins to fall in place. You see, whenever I hear guys and girls break up, I often ask this question: what did you have in mind before getting into that relationship? Most of the guys, they never had any plan in mind. They just saw her, they were gisting, they were talking, they had this tingling emotion, and they got into a relationship. That is how most Gen Zs date today. That's a very big problem. Another problem we won't have these days is this our idea of romance. It's fake, it's trash. It's very, very unrealistic. It is very, very unhealthy. It says that men should be very, very attached to their women. Nah, that idea was an idea that was created by Nollywood. The irony was, that idea of romance was created for women, but it's crazy that men bought into that idea more than women. And what ended up happening is you have women who are using those ideas of romance to basically manipulate men emotionally. And I tell you, as a man, this is the reason you should embrace the idea of stoicism, because without stoicism, we'll be lost these days. It will be easy for women to manipulate you like this. for the media to manipulate you, for the matrix to manipulate you. Because, like I've said, I have been there, I have done that, where you're doing things for the sake of love. But when you look up and realize that this idea of love is a very warped reality. The men that women are chasing are not really the men that love them. So how are those men? I will tell you, they embrace the path of hardship. They embrace the path of difficulty. So the question is, why aren't you doing that? Why do you think a soft life will give you results? Like I always say in my videos, I talk about men suffering more. That's because that's the only path. If you look at any man the world admires, there's not a single man that the world admires that did not suffer. Even Jesus Christ suffered. So I feel like the first mindset shift is to embrace the idea of suffering. That hardship is what separates that meaningful hardship, because it has to be meaningful. That meaningful hardship is what separates the men that have it from the men that don't have it. So the first one is the mindset shift about hardship being the way. The second is a vision. Now, most guys don't have a vision for their life. What I say is, your vision could just start with anything simple. But if this is a simple process to craft a vision for yourself, think about the life that you don't want. For most guys, they don't want to grow old and be lonely. Most guys, so what's the opposite of that? Is what? You want to have a family, in my own case, multiple families. You want to have kids going around. You want to have people to take care of, people to be responsible for, because in the very end, for some strange reasons, that's a very healthy way of expressing your masculinity, when you're showing responsibility for other people. And this is something that the Matrix has completely denied people of. They tell you, you don't have to be a man to take care of people, or you are a real man if you take care of other people's kids. Nah, why aren't they your kids? So if you have a vision, it's easy for you to separate yourself from most men, because most men don't have a vision. They're just living through life. Their job is to go to school, get a job, and whatever happens to them. Mind you, that was in the past, when the culture shaped boys naturally into men and also shaped girls into women. But these days, we have completely lost sense of purpose, like I said. And I think the third tip here I'll tell guys is become well-rounded. You see, back in the days, right, you could have money alone, and money alone as a man will solve most of your problems. But these days, guess what? Women now have access to money. Women now can work. And some women magically, the woman you basically want probably has access to some high-value men. If she looks good, if she has good feminine energy. So what should you do? You need to bring just money to the table. I'll say the best tip here is you need to maximize every area of your life. Get rich, learn a skill, get rich, be jacked, be smart, be funny, have a social life, have a spiritual life, be stoic, be somebody who is grounded in his emotions. Basically, look at any area of your life and never lack in that area, and trust me. One thing I'll tell you is, I haven't even gotten to 10 over 10 in every area of my life, but I can see results. I'm saying this because I feel like by the time I get there, it will be way difficult for me to even relate to with the person who just starting out. But whenever I look at men who are the most attractive these days, these guys basically have it all. Yes, and that's the whole point. Have a vision for every aspect of your life. That itself will basically shape most of your decisions. And if you don't believe me, I basically had a guy who I was coaching recently. He was finding it very difficult to find a wife material. And I asked him, what do you want in a partner? He had this laundry list of things he wanted. Guy, take him down to only 3 things. And to take it down to 3 things, it took him about 20-30 minutes. And when he was done, 2 weeks later, he told me that all of these bodies were no longer interesting to him, because why? He now had a clear vision. Most guys don't have a clear vision for what they want to do. They have a vague vision that feels like it is the matrix that puts it in your head. You are a man. You need to actually craft a vision for yourself. So if you basically made it this far in this video, it's obvious that you take yourself very, very serious. And you basically realize that the matrix is never built or was never built to serve you. So thank you very much. I'll need you to share this video with somebody who will find it very helpful. It's that single action of sharing this video that will basically help the algorithm pick out young men who need to hear advice like this. Advice that, one, that difficulty, that hardship is the path. 2, they need to craft a vision for themselves. And finally, 3, they need to become well-rounded men. So thank you very much. Talk to you soon. And bye for now.